That's not good, though. I don't want that. What is going on here?
Do this.
This is really entertaining content here for people.
Yeah. What can you? I hope are we live right now?
Yes.
Excellent. Hello, Rob.
Hello, folks. I'm just getting you on my screen. It's just taking me a moment here to figure that out.
Oh, so they can see Julian cleaning up the Dr. Pepper?
They can now. Yeah, I just got this going here.
Just pulled it up, I guess.
Fuck you, Rob. No, this is premium content. Julian.
Yeah, everyone loves this.
Spray in hand.
I really have to go and shower.
The chat is saying slower. Slow it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're telling you to remove pieces of clothing that are sticky with DP.
I'll be back.
Don't call it that. Just call it Dr. Pepper.
Record when I get back?
What's that?
Should I start the recording when I get back?
No, we could wait.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
We can wait. Oh, yeah, yeah. I guess DP has some other connotation, so I will call it Dr. Pepper from now on.
Yeah.
Fine. We don't. That's our word. We don't need to let these sex perverts take away our
Take away our sweet
our acronyms. Yeah.
for an underappreciated soda.
Yeah. This is a delicious diet DP.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it.
That's a special category.
Yeah.
The diet DP.
That's right. And you can take this to the bank, but I, Rob Rousseau, love getting DP'd.
Yeah, somebody DP me. It is true though, of the diet sodas, the Diet Dr. Pepper does have the least kind of like aspartame aftertaste. I don't know.
I love it. It's very refreshing. I did have a Coke Zero cherry Coke Zero today. That was quite nice as well.
That is the best. Yeah, that is also an incredible diet soda. The cherry sort of offsets the diet flavor. Although I read, of course, I read something recently that was like, oh, the
fake news.
Yeah, the fake news that the FDA is considering diet soda carcinogenic. Not true, folks.
Yeah.
And so what did I do? Instead of being like, you know what? I'm going to drink more water. I'm going to cut down on this diet soda. I was like, well, they haven't said anything about regular Coke. So
yeah, sugar can't be that bad for you. Just real sugar.
So I'm gonna get those big reds back in the fridge.
Yeah. No, I saw that article as well, and it's like, yeah, on the WHO, you have a number of people that are on this panel that have like worked for this company that's been funded by the soft drink industry for decades now. And I was like, okay, so it's bad to know things about the industry that you're working in now? That's a crime? Come on. This wokeism is getting out of control here when we're kind of
it's soda pop. We know it's not natural. You can't put a like a spout into like some rock formation in Switzerland and get Coke out of it. That'd be cool if you could. It'd be really cool. There was like a soda fresh stream somewhere that would now talk about a tourist destination. Rob, you should talk to the good people who run Montreal and see about installing a natural soda spring.
I will.
Soda Spring even has a good name to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be great. All right, cool. Next project. Sweet. I'm going to pivot from covering conspiracy theories to lobbying for a natural soda pop resource. As I drink like a horrible pumpkin flavored thing in August, they've already rolled out all of their Halloween stuff. All the Halloween stuff's coming.
I'm just going to post on x.com that we're talking. The Everything app.
Yeah, the Everything app. Ugh. I've buried that X app in like the deep pool of apps in my phone. It's not on like the front screen, so that if I want to look at it, God forbid, I have to go digging for it. So I'm just trying to put more and more roadblocks in place to keep me from accessing that thing.
I turned off the updates, so I still have Twitter. I still have the bird and everything.
Oh, so you're dead naming the app.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's right. I am.
That's pretty cool though. You eventually what's going to happen though is that it'll just stop working. Just like phones, they'll just fade out, enough updates and you'll be forced to just retire that app, which, probably isn't such a bad thing.
Whoa, Jay, is that true? Bray Wyatt died? Is that true? What?
Who's Bray Wyatt?
It's a WWE superstar
Oh, damn.
who's like in his 30s. Is that fake news or is that true? Jeez. Checking into this.
I just watched the clip of Roddy Piper just dunking on Bill Maher when he accused wrestlers of that it's all.
I love that. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. So here, if this is true, yet another example that wrestling is incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. 36 years old.
Triple H tweeted about it 13 minutes ago.
Oh, damn. I never got into wrestling. I remember going and playing with the WWF ring, the sort of plastic ring with the actual rubber band sort of ropes and the toys at other kids' houses. Because I think my parents didn't let us have that. I think wrestling was considered too violent. Julian is like in the midst of like a real crisis here. What happened? He pulled his arm back and his elbow knocked the glass over. Did you see it?
I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's how it happens to me all the time. That fucking elbow. I wish I didn't have one. Pointy. It feels funny when I knock it on stuff.
He's
Down with a
reloaded.
Towel, like I wet the bed.
Well, how did I didn't sign any consent form to be on to piss myself on
Julian had
Twitch.
Julian had to meet his
We've
dad.
all been there, okay?
He had to meet his dad at the front door, who handed him a plastic baggie filled with new clothes.
Yeah.
Oh, and I see you're going. You're going
He's
to
tempting
You're going
fate.
again.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Some of this I picked up off the floor.
Okay, so this is going to be a real fuzzy and fizzy drink.
Yeah, listen, I need. The
I think I
bacteria.
can see a long hair attached to one of the ice cubes. Could just be a reflection.
That's a crack in the ice cube that contains liquid.
Okay, all right.
Don't look at it like that.
You call it what you want.
All right. Well, I'll get the recording started on our side.
So, Rob, are you able to record locally on your side too?
I hope so. Let me just try. Let me try it out.
All right. Well, we're printing
check.
on our side. We can do a clap whenever.
Sweet.
Yeah, it seems to work.
And we're also live on Twitch. To be clear.
We are live on Twitch.
Hello,
Yes.
Twitch.
Hello, Twitch.
Hello.
We're live. We're live on like 5 separate platforms right now.
Oh,
I guess I'll tweet it out because some of the people that miss my Twitch streams might want to tune in for me humiliating myself.
well,
Yeah.
they've missed that part.
Yeah, really.
Unless you continue to do so, which is,
Is it twitch.tv/Rob Russo?
Yep. That's right.
Beauty. Wow, X is fucked. Like,
X.
The everything app.
But I can't do shit on
but
it.
it's not even the anything.
Yeah.
Well, it's just because you just haven't given it your banking info yet. You give your credit card number and your social insurance number, and then you're going to be good to go.
What
Yeah.
can I post, Elon?
Yeah, when I want to look for something on this app, it says in the search bar, it says search X, and I'm like, well, should I be in a private browser right now? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You probably can't. I don't know how good our camera is, but I've got a big roll of paper towels here for our big spilly boy. Come on, everybody gets a little droppy spilly in their old age, you know?
Yep.
Say old age. Not a thing. I'm extremely young. I'm a young 39-year-old.
Oh yeah, I can't believe I'm older than you by
Me too.
a couple months.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
old.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm the
older.
youngest one on this podcast.
Am I?
What?
Travis must be
Well,
older than me though,
Obviously,
right?
Liv is like 21.
How old are you?
I'm 39.
He's still in his
I'm the
30s.
youngest.
No, you are not on our podcast. We're on
What are
yours.
I
you?
just got kicked off of their podcast.
What are you? What number are you?
I'm 36 number.
Oh my lord!
This is
36
a baby.
36. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't even remember your age. So
I
you already
just
have
had a
dementia.
birthday. And
No,
I
but this is what happens.
suppress it.
After 35, you do start to forget which, and it might be on purpose, but there was a good amount of time when I was 39 and I kept telling people that I was 38, not because I was trying to de-age myself, but because I honestly couldn't remember. You know, after COVID, basically, time sort of stopped really working in the way that it normally did in my brain. So
It tastes really good.
that Dr. Pepper,
Yeah, I'm gonna need a smoke.
that DDP.
This is what they call the Canadian special. Blasting cigs.
Dr. Pepper and having a couple darts, eh, bud? I wish they were Belmonts, though.
Is Belmont like a Canadian?
Belmonts are the best Canadian cigs. When I was smoking, which I'm not, Mom, if you're listening.
Mom's on Twitch too.
Your
She's
mom's-
listening
No,
to
she
the
Yeah.
doesn't, she doesn't know. She doesn't know, but she listens
listening to your
she
guest
listens
spots?
she listens to our podcast. And every time you make fun of me about vaping or, oh, Jake, you dropped your cigarette into your lap, anything like that, I catch heat afterwards.
I don't remember you dropping your cigarette in your lap. Is this the thing
But
you've been doing?
I'm just saying, you know, anytime you mention any kind of smoke being emitted from my body, I catch heat later on.
Getting
So
in trouble.
I'm telling you now, live in front of everybody, to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
more talking about cigs. No more talking about Dr. Peppers. No more spilling Dr.
Jake
Peppers.
is wearing like a shirt that's like a child's font that just says "Child of Divorce."
It's a shirt that I got at a concert.
Your
Okay.
parents are together.
They are.
What would
stealing
mom
valor.
think
You're
about that?
You're stealing
You're-
divorced parent valor with that.
I know. I was telling Julian I was at a like a department store buying something, and there was a kid in front of me in line with his mom, like probably buying like a graduation suit or something like that. And he turned around to leave, and he looked at the shirt, and he looked at me and gave me a very knowing, understanding glance, and went, "Hey man, I really like your shirt." And I went, "Oh, thanks."
Dude.
And I did feel like I was stealing divorce
It's
valor.
like a fucking Chuck E. Cheese bar.
It's very hot in this studio. This is a very
is
lightweight
so
shirt.
hot.
It's nice and loose. It's baggy, so I take it. I wear it.
I guess you can't see me. I'm wearing my Jake Sully Avatar shirt today, so I'm loosey goosey as well. Feeling very comfortable.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah! I'm assuming you have seen the second Avatar film.
Oh, have I ever? And we should talk about it on the podcast because I think we've devoted enough time on our podcast discussing this film.
I saw.
It's
the
only
fir-
been like at least 7 or 8 segments, and I think we can push that to at least 11 or 12 if we
I saw
set
the
our minds
first
to it.
Avatar with my best friend and our 2 dads, and we had such a fond memory because this was something that we enjoyed with our fathers. And you move away, you don't live in the same state as your folks. You have very few memories to hold on to. And I will always what I'm not allowed to tell this heartwarming story about going to see Avatar with my dad and my friend and his dad Julian.
I looked at Jordan. That's it.
Saw
Very
the look,
touchy. You're very touchy.
but I saw the look.
About as touchy as a child of divorce would be.
All right, I've got my guard up.
The Avatar warriors need to have our guards up because we never know when we're going to be maligned and insulted by even people that we once thought were our friends.
Yeah.
We want the unobtainium. We want the planet. It's ours. Don't give us this whale stuff.
I think Julian just wants the mech so that he can spill a larger glass of Dr.
Yeah.
Pepper onto his
Wants to
mech
see if it's
suit.
waterproof.
Yeah, I want to fill their seas with Diet Dr. Pepper. See how they survive that.
Hey, I'm sure you would still find some beautiful animals that evolved in that ocean.
That's what happens when we finally when we settle Pandoria and bring capitalism to Pandoria. The Na'vi will thank us when we give them blue jeans and Diet Dr. Pepper. They're going to be like, actually, this is not so bad. Maybe we were wrong to be so against this, you know?
There was a sick
This is actually all right.
that came out after the first movie. There was actually, you could play it in stereoscopic 3D. It was a 3D game. Not too many of those, which is interesting because you would think that 3D and video games would be something that kind of stuck around. But I guess VR sort of
You never
replaced
finished
that.
your heartwarming story.
That was it. It was just we went with our dads and it was a fun memory.
Nice.
That's all.
Yeah, that's cool,
great,
man.
Jordan. That's the correct response. A smile and that's awesome.
Why
and
you say
knowing
see
not
Jordan? What are you proving to Jordan?
because I see only judgment, only judgment through those. Through the
This is what I've
reflect-
had to put up with on this show. It's been
Avatar 3
disgusting,
judgment.
actually.
Avatar 3, where everyone who likes Avatar is jailed. And it's not at all about the planet Na'vi. It's just about people going to the movie theater and being put in jail.
Avatar 3.
Yeah,
Patriots are in control.
Julian calls himself a lefty, but only on things not relating to Avatar. When it comes to Avatar, total fascism.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
Colonel
but-
Quaritch guy was making some good points.
Between James Cameron and Ridley Scott, I'm a Ridley Scott guy. I'm sorry. I know that's controversial.
Mm. Hey, no, different
I like
strokes
James
for
Cameron.
different folks.
I like James Cameron, but he's no Ridley Scott.
Ugh.
He's no guy who made Blade Runner and Alien.
Mm,
Yeah, I know you like Aliens better than Alien.
He also made Prometheus.
Yeah.
I love Prometheus.
Oh,
I also
boy.
love Prometheus.
Oh,
not a-
boy.
That's a fantastic movie, and even Jake agrees.
Julie and I are in agreement on Prometheus. We
Yeah.
were Prometheus enjoyers.
In fact,
Oh,
he
no.
fucked up by like listening to people who didn't like Prometheus and not continuing with Noomi Rapace, who was a fantastic successor to Sigourney Weaver.
There are some deleted scenes that come with the Prometheus like DVD or whatever that actually I think that had they been in the movie that the movie would have appealed a little bit more broadly. There's some stuff that connects the sort of xenomorph as we know it today into the film earlier on that I thought was really interesting why they didn't include that in the in the actual movie. But
Yeah.
hey, it is what it is.
I don't even want to go down this avenue. I'm getting upset thinking about Prometheus again. So
Yeah.
this is a recipe for disaster,
Yeah. Well, you think Avatar's better than Prometheus, which is
big time.
very sad.
Yeah, absolutely, and I would stand by that.
Prometheus had got a terrible deal. Very unfair what happened to Naomi Rapace. Naomi Rapace. Terrible deal.
Yeah.
Terrible deal. What's his name? What's the guy's name? It's a Pete. Not Pete Postlethwaite. It's what's his name? His son, who is like in. Oh, Ray.
This is good.
It's Timothy Spall's son. Rafe Spall is in Prometheus, and I don't like him very much.
Yeah.
Riding on the coattails of his father. Timothy Spall, great actor. Rafe
No,
is.
I did actually really think it was amazing in Prometheus how it retconned all these things about one of the greatest films of all time, Alien, and all those interesting mysteries that your imagination was filling in with all whatever you could think of. Answered all those mysteries and questions with stuff that was super dumb and bad. I thought that was really good, actually. I enjoyed that. All those precious childhood memories just being stomped on by Ridley Scott and fucking Damon Lindelof.
Yeah. Well, you're
My
spiritually
nemesis.
still Dr. Pepper on your crotch by saying this kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. Damon
Jesus.
Lindelof. Yeah. Tough
Yeah.
to love. Tough to love.
What is
Yeah.
this podcast about?
I don't.
Movies?
Yeah,
Times.
Sometimes. Yeah.
yeah.
Movies we
is.
like, we don't like.
Yeah.
Movies we've got opinions on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Should we clap?
Yeah, we should clap, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
We have 2 claps on our side, so that's going to be awesome.
Thanks, Jake.
Yep.
Did you clap as well?
No,
There's just me and you.
I was just leading. I was allowing you both
Still,
to
it's
be
your
the leader
fault,
of the
Jake.
claps.
Why did you do that to us?
Were
Why
you
did you do the thing, Jake.
Were you recording like prior to the clap though? Because that was some
Yeah.
decent stuff. That was some decent chit chat to get in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were printing.
Printing.
Good. Cool. Well, I know the Insurgents podcast listeners love the nonstop conversations about Avatar that have taken place on this program. So good to know that we're going to deliver more of that, more of the red meat to the listeners. They love it.
Yeah, Avatar, the Canada of movies.
Yeah. Chat just slowly, the numbers just dwindling down, just dwindling, slowly dripping out.
I don't even have my phone. I have anxiety.
Do you want to get it?
No.
Yeah, do you need it?
No.
I don't think there's a
can
script.
pause.
I think this is
It's unscripted.
Yeah, I think this is what we always wish that we had done when we initially
get
made
people used
a
to this.
podcast, which was just kind of talk and have a good time. We really fucked ourselves by deciding to write out every single line, and we've got 2 25-page term papers due essentially every week. 3 now with the miniseries that we've been launching.
Mhm.
Oh, I listened to the first episode when I was putting furniture together the other day. Awesome.
Oh yeah,
I love it. The Spectral Voyager.
Hell yeah.
If people have not heard it yet, please go listen. It's great. It's really entertaining.
Yeah, it's fun. It's not too political. It's not too it's basically for all of us who need a little bit of a break and want to let our minds just sort of drip a little bit.
Yeah, the CIA told us we needed to depoliticize our content.
Right.
So we hired Jake.
Yeah. You do that jujitsu move of like bringing people in and then funneling it into these like directions where they're not going to be a nuisance to anybody.
They call
Powerful.
it the new Pollock. They're saying that, yeah.
But it is a good like furniture putting together, cleaning around the house, trying to fall asleep at night. We try to make the content, relaxing and funny and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think that's one thing that's kind of cool about this podcast, though, is that like we started it to talk about, mostly about the news and what's going on in the U.S. government and politics, but we have a healthy space for a lot of chit chat about sports and movies and video games and all that nonsense. I think it's a nice mix of those things.
Yeah, I mean, I was hearing from Jordan that Trump's gonna get a cool picture taken today. Like
He's getting a portrait done. He's going to JCPenney.
Yeah,
It's dropping.
it's gonna be like that laser background.
I loved the Rudy mugshot, just fantastic.
Oh, miserable! It's like a brutalist portrait of some sort.
Yeah.
It literally looks like Soviet era.
Yeah, he actually looks like a gnome or a troll or some kind of a mythical creature. The way he's kind of hunched over as well.
Like we finally coaxed him out from under the bridge, folks.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a question though. Here's a good question to get us started off. What direction do you think Trump is going to go with his mugshot pick? Because he's thought about it. Is it going to be serious face? Is it going to be the shit-eating grin? What do you guys think it's going to be?
No, he's got to do the shit eating grin. I thought about this a lot.
That's what I'm thinking as well.
You subscribe. Yeah, I think he subscribes to the never let him see you sweat kind of philosophy, and if he goes in there and he looks like he's going to be walking into a resort or something, and he's having a fantastic time. He'll feel like he's owning everyone who's going to post this photograph for forever through history, but especially on social media immediately after the photograph is taken. So that's where my money is. Big shit eating grin.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, somebody's hunched over a tablet getting ready to redo him as a groiper right now, just waiting.
Well, and honestly, it doesn't fucking matter really what he does. He could smile, the biggest grin, 2 thumbs up, and people would be like, he looks nervous. Yeah. He looks really scared. People will impose whatever they want over whatever exists. That's kind of where we're at because my opinion is that the way that Trump would think about this is he's like, what's going to piss off the liberals the most? Mm-hmm. And in that case, it would be a big grin. This doesn't bother me in the least. And then for the QAnon people, if he does the big grin, they'll be like, oh, see, he knows what's going on. All of this was planned. He had to be the
trust the plan.
be arrested, for all of the real election fraud to come out in the discovery. Everybody loves talking about discovery now, as if this is a magical thing that will solve all of our problems, when in reality none of us really, well, some people probably do, but none of us really know how any of this is going to play out.
We all get to discover we're politically impotent.
The cynicism from some people about today and his mugshot and the significance about it, I think, is just a little bit performative. Everyone's like, oh, you can hear all the thousands of T-shirt presses going. And Ken and I were kind of laughing, certainly indulging in that, saying, like, this is going to be like resistance liberal heyday. This is going to be like the biggest day of their lives.
Yeah.
Jeff Tiedrich is going to have a heart attack. He's been waiting for that. But also, like,
He deserves it.
yeah, he does. He's put in the work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree
Like,
with
at the
that.
same time, it's going to be really funny, and I want to enjoy it. It's going to be really fucking funny no matter
it is
what
funny.
Oh,
happens.
Yeah, it's and you know what, we can deal, because really what's going to happen, I think, is that you get this moment, this endorphin pump of seeing Donald Trump finally being at least at the beginning of being held accountable for his actions. But then the picture's gonna go away, and there's gonna be new things that come. It's never enough. It won't be enough. Just like when all of these, indictments dropping, there was a fair amount of, oh my God, like what a great day for justice and America and stuff. But a lot of the conversation, at least online, which, take with a grain of salt, is like, who's next? It's got to be Arizona, and then so and so. It's just it's not enough. It'll never be enough. And so I think what's going to happen to people is that they're gonna get this thing that they think they've been wanting so much, which is Donald Trump mugshot. And then as the mugshot goes away, they've seen it, they've looked at it a couple times and laughed and made a couple memes and stuff. They're gonna go back to feeling shitty, and then what? I don't know. It's just Schadenfreude is fleeting, I will say.
Yeah, it's another day in the spectacle.
Yeah.
Let's hope this is the shiniest one.
Yeah.
Well, and I think as someone that's always been really, really skeptical that he was ever going to have any kind of consequences for anything that any of the rampant criminality or corruption that he was part of, either before or after being elected president, I was very cynical and skeptical that that was ever going to happen. And I guess just even this stuff is probably way beyond anything that I ever imagined was going to go on. I'm still not totally convinced that it will lead to anything significant, whether it will stop him from running for president or possibly being elected again. I'm still not convinced. It always seems to me that it's like, it's like they're trying to hold him accountable just enough that they can say that they did it, because we know that these powerful people in the U.S. government and in these elite circles don't really want to set this precedent of having to have consequences for like rich and powerful people that are committing crimes, because that opens them up to a lot of possibilities for themselves also being persecuted for similar things. But it seems like they wanted to do just enough that they could say that they were like, following through on some of these legal threats, while not actually having any severe enough consequences that's going to like lead to him, whether it's going to jail or whether it's not running for president. That's always been the thing for me, that I'm never really going to be able to accept that that's a possibility until that moment comes. And then maybe I'll believe it like when that actually happens.
Well, I think that's a smart place to be, right? Because look, you can, in the months leading up to the Super Bowl, you can have all sorts of ideas about how it's going to go, who's injured, who's not, what their stats are looking like, how the game could play out. You can sell a lot of advertisements too during that analysis, but it's not actually until game day that you find out what really happens. And so I think that's a good place to be. Travis and I have talked about this, about expectations and placing hopes in, that the right thing, will actually happen. And, I mean, in a lot of ways, you set yourself up for disappointment, and sometimes it's better to just be sort of pleasantly surprised. And Rob, I think I'm with you. I sort of, this is further and Trump being held more accountable than I ever thought. So I'm curious to see where it goes and to see what happens. But if nothing happens, I won't be surprised. And if everything happens, I won't be my life won't have more meaning, I guess.
I think
I'm still kind of skeptical that anything's going to happen. Mostly because I mean, I don't understand exactly like how jury selection works, but don't they have to be unbiased towards the towards the defendant?
Yeah.
How are you going to find 12 people in Georgia or anywhere in the United States who have no particularly strong feelings about Donald Trump one way or the other? He's the most polarizing figure alive. So I think I read that Fannie Willis is trying to have this trial in October, which is just like a month and a half from now. Like I don't see that. I don't know. I think the old dog's got a few tricks in them. Of course, the ultimate one would be if there's this long, exhaustive, painful, drawn-out trial. He's finally convicted. He's even sentenced, and he just fucking dies before he actually has to suffer any punishment. That would be the ultimate, but we'll see what happens.
He is old.
You saw the reactions. I don't know if you all watched the GOP debate last night, but just about all of them went to bat for Trump. Vivek Ramaswamy is just that desperate, try hard vibe, gleefully raising his hand and saying repeatedly, even before last night, that he would pardon Trump. All of them, with the exception of Christie and then one of the no-name guys who barely made the stage, actually talked about what Trump did was wrong. I think they all realize none of them really have a shot if he's running. They all just, maybe with the exception of DeSantis, want to be his VP. I don't think Christie would, but he also kind of took a shot at Trump.
Mm-hmm.
They are all desperate for him to succeed, and I don't think he's ever going to go to jail. But really, it showed, last night showed just how shallow the GOP roster is. You've got other people waiting for maybe 2028, maybe a Hawley. I don't even know who else after that. Tom Cotton, I'm sure, is eventually going to run. But this is the shallowest field for the Republican Party that I've seen in a while. And I think they're all banking on Trump just skating free and getting through this like he really always has.
Yeah, and his popularity is not very high. I mean, the only way that ends in some sort of victory for them is if Biden's numbers are that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, this would be an epic fail of the DNC if they managed to fumble this one, because it is looking bad. But then again, that's what we said about the field going into 2016.
Yeah, fortunately, nothing like that's ever happened before, so don't see why it would be an issue this time.
I just think that nobody that liked and voted for Biden feels dramatically different about him. They're just it's like Hillary, was kind of deeply unpopular candidate compared to even Biden after this 3-year period.
Biden's poll numbers, they're right, obviously likes to point to those. Those really don't matter that much. Every president for the last 15, 20 years has had an approval rating in the 30s at some point in their presidency, usually around this time. It's not that big of a deal. People like to zoom in and be like, oh, this is, historically low compared to, this time in so-and-so's presidency. It ebbs and flows. There's other factors. None of that really matters, because when it comes down to it, if Biden's the nominee, Democrats, for the most part, and a lot of centrists are going to vote just on name recognition. Yeah. They like you're saying, they don't hate him. He hasn't done a terrible job. I know we'd all like him to have done a lot more and taking bolder stances on issues like climate change and a bunch of other things. But for a Democratic, capital D president, it's just kind of run of the mill. They don't have a reason to be upset or turned off by him.
In the left corner, Bozo. In the right corner, the corpse. He's tuned in for the greatest election ever.
Yeah, he's generally inoffensive, which compared to the 4 years of Trump is a huge improvement. I'll tell you one thing that is definitely going to happen is Trump's this mugshot. Any further indictments, any trial, any jail time that sentence is going to embolden Trump's base in a way that I sort of felt was kind of dying off, in the sort of months, between January 6th and all of these new charges being dropped. I sort of think that any kind of thing that you throw, any sort of like legal jeopardy that you really throw at him, it just, for the people who are diehard Trump supporters, or even maybe sort of kind of on the fence, it's just, it sort of strengthens his whole like witch hunt kind of, his decree. And also, I think at least on the online sort of liberal side, we've already gotten what's going to be used, which is, it'll be, you're really going to vote for your twice impeached, 46 indicted president. That's what it'll be. It's the accusation, the indictment is already the guilt of the crime. There is nobody, I think, in the liberal sphere that's going, hey, you know what? Like, I'm going to wait and see what comes up in this trial. Maybe it isn't sort of the way I thought it was. And this new evidence, you're just not going to have that. The accusation and the actual indictment is the guilty verdict.
Yeah. I think that Biden's going to step it up. He's going to become what the right says he is, a despot, a totalitarian leader, and he's going to Prigozhin Trump. Shoot his ass out the sky.
No, he's just going to keep leaning into the dark Brandon thing, and the diehard like Biden liberals will slowly become what they've always wanted to be, which is MAGA. I'm sorry, they had, and I understand it. They started. It felt bad when it was done to them for 4 years, and now it's their turn. They're doing the memes. They're doing the dark brand. They're doing the laser out of the eyes. They're getting to have the fun. They're having even more fun because there's actually indictments. I've said this on our show, but like they're actually getting their storm. Which is very upsetting for the QAnon people who were told that
even because if it is all just like optics, right? Hillary never did have a mugshot. They had to make that in Photoshop.
Yes,
yeah.
But the liberals are actually
getting it.
Yeah. Oh, that is so stupid.
They'll still Photoshop it though.
Yeah,
it'll
make
still
it
be Photoshopped.
They have to put him in their orange jumpsuit.
Yeah, reality isn't good enough. They didn't get their perp walk in the orange jumpsuit yet. They might. Probably not.
I want the old timey like black and white stripes with like a
just busting rocks with the pickaxe or whatever.
Here's the other thing: if Donald Trump does go to prison, it's gonna be like Ray Liotta in Goodfellas, where he's gonna have a nice big cell. He's gonna get to cook the good, the sauce. Too many onions.
He's making his own bespoke McDonald's meals in the prison toilet or whatever.
And he will do
Diet Coke, the prison toilet Diet Coke.
He will do everything he can to make sure that everybody knows, whether it's true or not, that he's having a fucking blast in there.
Yeah.
That's
it's going to be the final scene of like Wolf of Wall Street with like the playing tennis and being like, it's not so bad.
Yeah. He's going to go to like the good.
What he's going to do is he's going to pretend to be an anonymous source in prison talking to journalists. Oh, yeah, I saw him. He has a big smile on his face. He's loved by everyone. And they all keep asking him. They say, sir, we loved you as president. Will you be president again? And I say, maybe someday.
They come to him with tears in their eyes, these big hulking inmates, sobbing, crying.
He's gonna go around like if somebody's about to beat him up, he's gonna be like, look, I'm gonna get you out of here, okay? I'm gonna get everybody out of here, all right? This place is terrible. I like all of you guys very much, very good people. Got a terrible deal, and I'm gonna free every single one of you.
Yeah,
I'm making the best shiv. I've fashioned a toothbrush. I've turned it into a very sharp object. It's very dangerous, folks. The best shiv you've ever seen.
He's like if you take two mint leaves, you combine it with half a gallon of orange juice. You can let it sit under the bed for a little bit. You can make something even better than Diet Coke. It's just as fizzy.
So wait, so they're getting mint leaves from the?
I don't know. I was just
commissary.
I was commissary. Yeah, I was trying to think
I'll have a bushel of mint, please.
What are some funny ingredients that might be able to make you, homemade Diet Coke?
I mean, Trump is going to take the opportunity to, as he does, be accidentally correct and come out with like decent opinions, no actual action, but decent opinions about the carceral state.
Yeah,
he's so awesome.
No, and like just to go to the election too, it's like I think these are all good points, and like it is like Biden is in a good position to do this, even though I'm maybe a little bit more skeptical than others are. I think about, first of all, I got to be saying a big congratulations to all the ironic hipster dudes that started the whole Dark Brandon thing that now the fucking Democrats have totally embraced, and they're selling like Dark Brandon merch. Really great for the people that memed that into existence. But I think about the cynicism that sits in for especially young people who time and time again in every election cycle, the Democrats say, you got to vote for the Democrats because we care about these issues like student debt and the climate and stuff like that. And I think that's something that could hurt them. I don't think anyone's going to switch all of a sudden think that the Republicans are good or switch to the Trump side, but youth voters really did turn out in that midterm election on a lot of promises they were making, and I think they've seen how hollow a lot of that shit was. Like we talked about the climate and the big contrast between what Republicans were seeing in that debate last night, just basically not even admitting that it's an issue, that man-made climate change is even happening at all. And then you have Joe Biden on Twitter saying like, climate change is real, Jack, or whatever it is. But it's like, but what are you actually doing about that? Like, that's the big question. Like, are you really meaningfully addressing that in any way? We've talked a little bit about some of the things that they're doing. I don't think it's nothing at all. They're luring these companies to build these new manufacturing facilities in predominantly red states to build make EV batteries and solar panels and things like that. Like, they're not doing nothing, but with the scope of the crisis, and we have young people like really terrified, legitimately terrified for the future that they have to live in, they're not anywhere near coming close to meaningfully addressing that. And it's supposed to be enough to just say like, oh, I believe the scientists. But not only are they not doing enough, but they're opening up new drilling avenues. They're kind of doubling. Won't even ban fracking or anything like that. They're still they're still promoting and supporting fracking the industry. It's like, I think it's likely that they will win, but like I'm a little bit more skeptical and cynical about it, just because I do think people will, if anything, just stay home because they correctly realize that a lot of these big promises that liberals like Joe Biden make to them are actually completely full of shit, and that just turns people off from the whole process to begin with.
I think so. I think it'll be like probably a pretty low turnout election in general, even people for Trump. Like, I don't think he's currently rallying people as much as he was in 2016. There's a portion of people who just don't care. Even QAnon people, a lot of QAnon people are like, whatever. I heard what he had to say about the vaccines. I no longer think he's ushering in the storm. The storm's going to come. It's just not him.
Yeah, and I was like, if I'm a young person, I'm like, why do I have to vote between like two old white guys who like they have to Photoshop lasers out of their eyes?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but like, it's like I either get this guy with the lasers out of his eyes or this guy with the lasers out of his eyes. They're both like evil robot guys. What's like,
there's not much to be excited about. That's for sure.
I think that's the danger though of Vivek Ramaswamy. I don't know if you guys all watched last night, but I think objectively had a good performance relative to what people were expecting. He came in, he was energized, and this is just an issue of juxtaposition.
He's the only one that has anything resembling momentum right now.
Yeah, and he had a ton of charisma last night. He was over-eager, again, going back to the try-hard thing. He was just looking for opportunities to get a spotlight. He took it, and I think it felt very similar to Pete. Just this really energetic, eager, overzealous guy, younger when looking at the entire field on stage. And I think there's a danger there because people are just going to see him. So it's someone new. It's someone different. He's got energy and charisma, which are all things that are valuable in electoral politics. But my God, what a fucking lunatic. Like, the guy is just so he has like the same type of like parasitic Pete energy that just really rubbed me, and I know a lot of other people the wrong way. And that climate change is real, Jack tweet from Biden was in response to him saying climate change is a hoax, which, if you remember when they asked how many of you think the human contributions are making climate change worse, nobody really rushed to raise their hand other than Vivek Ramaswamy, in part probably because he wanted a spotlight, but he then led with, if we want a next generation of human prosperity, we need to drill, frack, burn coal, like all these things that scientifically are proven to shorten our collective lifespans. But the guy is just speaking to issues that appeal to big business, appeal to like some really fucking deranged parts of the population. And I do think in part like a younger disillusioned generation. He's appealing to young people's cynicism. There's a danger in that. If he gets the nomination, I don't think he will, but if he does, there's a strong case to be made to yank Biden and fill him with someone younger and better.
I think
that's
that
my case for Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, I think that he's just like he's a blueprint of how lunatic these right-wing politics will be in a post-Trump era. Like you said, I don't think he's going to eclipse the king, not this time around. But yeah, it's like that's where they're at. They are in, it's not just the kind of passive denial that happens on the side of the DNC, the kind of acquiescence to this collective suicide. It's rabid fuck you to like even the idea that we're heading down a kind of disastrous path on a scientific basis.
Well, and like, I mean, if Vivek is raising his hand a ton and he's saying outlandish things and things that contradict one another and yada, it doesn't matter. It's like what we learned from 2016 is that he will get airtime because of this. And we all know that the more airtime you get, I mean, that was a huge part, I think, of Trump's momentum was that he was covered so much and continues to be covered. Sometimes I play a game with myself where I'll open my phone and I'll type www.cnn.com and go, am I going to see the word Trump in big letters is the first thing that I open the phone? And like 99% of the time it is. It's just the coverage. And I don't know if Vivek knows that or if he's just, like you were saying, just young and hungry and wants to raise his hand a lot and just wants to talk a lot. But the sort of the result of that is that people will cover him more often, whether or not it's to debunk his claims or to point out his hypocrisy. He's still getting a lot of airtime, and as we all know,
Vivek got
not very good.
Got a lot of good quests off that guy in Elder Scrolls Online.
Well, he's definitely being a beneficiary of that kind of media phenomenon that originally like really helped Trump. It's like, look at this guy and all the outlandish things he's saying. He's bringing in the viewers and the ad dollars. Let's keep putting this guy on TV, and it becomes this kind of self-fulfilling feedback loop. Is there any chance you think he's angling for a VP slot? Could that be a possibility for him?
Yeah, he didn't try to differentiate himself that much from Trump. He explicitly said he thinks Trump was the best president of the 21st century. That does seem like an avenue. And it honestly could help, because if you put him against a Kamala Harris on a debate stage, he's going to look better. She's been so wonky lately. Her moments are like, her gaffes are very weird. Her laugh comes at odd times, it seems like a little too zealous relative to what was just said. Yeah. It seems awkward and nervous. I think he would upstage her.
But Trump is so idiosyncratic. He's not going to make a calculation. He's just going to be like, I don't like that guy, or I like that guy.
Yeah, he's nice to me.
Yeah, is that it? Me. I mean,
probably.
Do you think he
said very nice?
I mean, other people in the field were either in his administration and defected near the end. Chris Christie's calling him out directly. Ron DeSantis, that's not going to happen. That's like the only person on stage that's for sure not going to be his VP. Yeah, because they've been going at it for a while.
Yeah. No, and I think, Chris Christie either. He called him, well, in a roundabout way, he called him a fat pig. He was like, don't call him a fat pig.
I saw people sharing that too and being like, oh, he's got the fastball back. But I'm sorry, I felt that was a little hypocritical. Trump was not looking good in that speech. He was looking like he was looking like one of those like Mar-a-Lago hams that's been sitting under the heat lamp too long. It's all fucked up looking. He's talking to Chris Christie's weight. I was like, sir, I don't know. Come on.
Yeah,
a little hypocritical.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, what's new? I mean, yeah. Trump caught being hypocritical.
Yeah, exactly. We got him this time.
In the mirror. He looks at himself in the mirror and sees like a lithe, like 35-year-old. You know,
what's the opposite of body dysmorphia?
I don't know.
What is seeing Chris Pine when you're Donald Trump?
Yeah.
It's the first Spider-Man Tobey Maguire factor. You know, you get bit by the spider. You look in the mirror. All of a sudden, you got an 8-pack and
you got bravado.
You're ready to go. You can climb on the walls.
But it is like such a dead end right now, because either you kind of worship Trump and acquiesce to him and then immediately make yourself not really like the leader in that kind of confrontation, or you confront him and suffer. because I think that the base is still like very much aligned behind Trump. I mean, he is the front runner by far, you know, even with Vivek's entry and the sagging, let's say, of DeSantis.
Yeah, with every indictment, his polling gets so much worse. It's great.
And he, like, I didn't watch the whole debate. I actually watched Jaws rather than watch the Republican debate last night, which I don't regret whatsoever. But I did see some of the highlights, and that weird moment where DeSantis like tries to do some kind of like a human smile and just looks like this weird creep. Like, that's been one very satisfying thing to see him just completely fall flat over the last couple of weeks. And talking about, you know, Vivek and the way that, like, it seems like all these kind of tech bros who were circling around DeSantis originally, how are all kind of like jumping ship, including Elon Musk, jumping ship now and supporting Vivek's campaign because DeSantis is such an obvious fucking loser. That's been kind of satisfying to see.
Yeah.
So they opened the debate last night. The very first question, even before the question, they played a clip of the music video.
Yes.
Richmond, North of Richmond by Oliver Anthony. And the very
we need more conversation about this.
Yeah. Well, apparently, I mean, we talked about it a bit on our last episode, kind of justifying why we did an episode about it. But I mean, this is how far it's reached. It's like Rob pointed out in our last episode, it's the top song on the Hot 100. They opened the debate by asking DeSantis and then went around the field why it is so popular. I mean, you guys look way too closely, I think, for your health at the right and people online on the right. What is it about this song that makes them think that this is an issue that the right at the top cares about? Because that was the framing. It's why is the song resonating with people? There's some lip service paid to class issues, but as we all know, it's all hollow.
I think it's people who care about the primary, people who watch TV, people who are on Twitter. I mean, that is still, I think, a minority of the Republican Party. I think if you ask the majority of voters, they're like, what, who, what? I mean, I think that they, for better or worse, they're betting on the culture war, right? And from the people I've spoken to on the right who are just either like kind of politically passive or care, but like don't follow it even as close as like, you know, even like the most turned off like Twitter person, they don't like that. For them, politics is that. It's like what you think about trans rights or whatever, or like LGBT, like that is politics for them at this point. So I think they've successfully melted the brain of a lot of people. But then when it comes to actually voting and, you know, taking some time out of your day or getting your boss to like give you the day off or whatever, like the actual kind of mechanics of voting, people will probably just vote for whoever they think is going to be giving them like better taxes or like I think it's still the rich. I don't think that the song, I don't think that, you know, I think the culture war has made a dent, but it's still a minority, I think, of people who are actually going to vote.
I think that the song is popular because of the quote unquote raw production value. I think most, you know, sort of right wing or
authentic
country music, they're kind of shot like the Vampire Diaries, you know, it's just like they're very flatly shot. There's a lot of kind of, you know, fade ins, fade outs, a slow motion waving flag, or a Kid Rock video where there's like, I don't know, motocross, you know, happening in the background, or guns and explosions being fired off, or, you know, or the QAnon rapper video, you know, where he's standing in front of a big lifted pickup truck, and it's, you know, fancy editing and all this stuff. But this guy is just standing in his backyard with the trees behind him and an acoustic guitar and one microphone in front of him, and he's singing about the things that, you know, that the right wing base like really believes and wants to hear.
That beard has to be a dye job, right? And, are we in agreement?
And I just think it's the visual. I think the popularity, you know, the song is like whatever, you know, it's you know, it's
so
whatever.
I can't believe the welfare queen stuff. Like that is so outdated and weird.
It's the content of the song is just like insane, but I think it's purely the visual. I think that this young man represents the kind of like the pinnacle of like what these people see themselves as. It's like, look, one of us stood out in his backyard, he sang his heart out, and now look, and now he's got it's the success story. It's this overnight success. It's now he's in front of crowds of thousands of people and he's reading Bible passages before. I mean, holy shit, this is amazing. This guy, before he even started singing, he brought out his Bible. He's a true believer. He is one of us. And look at how God has rewarded him. There is a meta to his success that I think builds into his popularity.
And there are like, I think one of the reasons he's popular is simply that there are not that many good conservative artists that are actually expressing whatever passes for conservative politics these days in a way that sounds decent, okay production value. And so it's like just liberals are enjoying the entire field of music and art. You know, they aren't like rallying behind Randy Rainbow's like anti-Trump song. Like, they
speak for yourself.
But what I mean is, like, yeah, of course they're going to push it to the top. All it takes is it takes like like 10% of the population to really be obsessed with this thing. And for them, it's like a third of their entire base being obsessed with one song. It's going to push it to the top. I don't think it means much about like the culture and what that, you know, like, or anything deeper about like conservative dominion over cultural products.
But they desperately want it to be about the culture. It's why Sound of Freedom, I think, was so popular, is because they're so used to having like shit, you know. And you go to a movie theater and you watch something like, even, you know, even as a kid, I knew Ninja Turtles 3 sucked, okay? You know, and I really wanted to like this third Ninja Turtles movie. And you go to the theater and you go, this isn't great. But it's like Sound of Freedom, oh my God, like it actually looked like a movie. It had a couple big stars in it. It had a beginning, middle, and end. It was competently edited, more or less. And I think it's the same with this. It looks good. It sounds pretty good. It's kind of the best that they've got right now. So they want to hoist that to the front to see, we are artistic too. We have art as well. Our beliefs are inspiring great art as well. You fucking like, you know, I think it kind of is
spite, and it's also just like they're so convinced that the entire culture is conspiring against them that like it's pushing their agenda on them. And so they're like, finally, like a folk hero to stand against like the deluge of Hollywood sickos.
Well, and the song is very literal. There's no like, if you look at a lot of let's say you know, left-leaning music, there's metaphors, there are you know, they may be talking about something, but it's kind of disguised and you have to sort of read into it. Whereas this, he's just saying the stuff, you know, he's just saying the stuff that they believe. No metaphors, it's right there. It's these rich men in Virginia, you know, who are controlling the world. You know, it's like I get why it's popular. Will it have staying power? Will this young man go on to be a huge conservative megastar? Will he play at Trump rallies? Probably.
Yeah.
I thought he was a Biden bro. He's being canceled now by all these like right-wing guys because he came out and said like, oh yeah, by the way, I don't explicitly hate black people. And he said like, you know, diversity is our strength. Like he literally said those words. And all these people, all these like big right-wing guys these new right-wing fans that he was attracting are all like, oh, he's like CIA. He's like a CIA agent, whatever.
Of course.
They're all canceling him now.
Of course. If something we liked then said something that we don't like, it's gotta be some sort of orchestrated scheme. It must have been placed there. It must have been created.
I want to get your guys' take on the clip, which I hope you saw, of Trump's Tucker interview last night talking about Jeffrey Epstein.
No, I haven't. I have not seen it.
What's this?
Yeah, can we pull it up? Can we watch it on
I mean, we can watch it on our side. It's going to come through like the audio.
Can you pull it up?
Yeah.
Rob, are you able to pull it up?
I can see what I can do about that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can share your screen with us over Skype. Yeah. I can also share our screen with you.
Yeah, I mean, after 5 years of like looking into the QAnon shit, I'm so afraid of opening my phone and watching clips of anything and looking at anything online that this is how I find out about shit like this is that somebody comes and they're like, oh, you gotta like see this crazy clip of what he said.
I can pull it up.
Yeah, sure. I do have the post, but if you want to share it with me, we can do that.
DM'd it to you, Julian.
Oh, how about that? How about that technology happening?
DM'd it to me.
On X.com, the Everything app. I can text it to you.
The Everything app.
It's okay. I'll find it on Twitter. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I can share my screen too. 1 second. I'll do that. Oh, great.
Ding ding. That's right, chat. You will wait out this uncomfortable silence as we figure out our technical.
I'm sharing now. He can.
Do you think Epstein killed himself sincerely?
I don't know. I will say that, he was a fixture in Palm Beach.
Yeah.
I don't know what Barr said about it either. I have no idea what he said. What did he say? He killed himself, probably?
He said he
Is that
killed
what-
himself and that they were going to do this investigation. They never did the investigation. It's never been
Yeah,
public.
well, he
and they
didn't-
hid it. And why are they doing that?
He
And
didn't
clearly
do-
Barr knew. But why would Bill Barr be covering up the death of Jeffrey Epstein?
Bill Barr didn't do an investigation on the election fraud either, okay? He said he did, and he pretended he did, but he didn't. McSwain, the U.S. attorney in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, said Barr just wouldn't let him do it. It was crazy.
Trump seems more confused than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Here's
People.
He was killed.
You
I
think
think.
so?
I think the closer you look, I'm not a conspiracy person at all.
Oh, well.
I believe everything
yeah.
I hear. But yeah, the closer you look into it, I mean, the Attorney General of the United States, your Attorney General clearly lied about the Epstein death.
Yeah,
And
he was.
Why?
He was certainly. It wasn't well done. They had no cameras. They had no anything.
No
Everybody was-
cameras.
a case could be made. Look, I'm not going to get involved in it, but I can tell you a case could be made either way. But it certainly wasn't the most well-run place.
So the reason
A lot of people.
he was killed.
Wow.
I would have simply stuck him in a prison that was better run, that had cameras that
Yeah.
were functional. If it was up to me personally.
Here's the thing. If I was the chief executive of the United States and there was a federal agency called the Bureau of Prisons responsible for the care of Jeffrey Epstein, I might have taken that a little more seriously.
Yeah.
It's like he's talking about like anyone else, like, this, like, I guess they didn't do a good job. That was you. That was partly kind of your job.
Well, he's hedging because he was part of the same social set. This motherfucker's in the same set. Of course, he's like, oh yeah, no, it could be one way, could be another.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's too bad. It's like this. The first thing he thinks, oh, Epstein. The first thing I think of Epstein is a fixture in Palm Beach.
Yep.
So this is the first.
Well,
he calls-
Palm Beach.
he calls that. That's what you think there.
I know he was very popular, and he liked going out with lots of young girls in Palm Beach.
Let me tell you something about Jeffrey Epstein. Terrible hair plugs. I don't know where he got them. Looks like a job done in Turkey. Those kinds of places.
Weird guy. Really weird.
You got to wonder though, like what the QAnon folks are saying about that, considering that's been the whole linchpin of like everything that these people believe in, And then when he comes out and like he won't even like give them the sort of red meat that they're looking for, like how do they keep holding on to that?
They always say that he has to say these things. He has to pretend like
okay.
See, because it's part of the plan. The public isn't ready. The public is never ready to hear the full truth.
See.
Of course, he's sort of dancing around the truth, and this is the whole point of QAnon in the first place. It's the idea that these horrifying truths that are happening have to be revealed through these posts on fucking 4chan because Trump himself can't say them.
Yeah, what they're gonna be doing is trying to find anagrams for a fixture in Palm Beach to see how that is, speaking code to give a hint at where the real investigation going on behind the scenes. I mean, what it sounds like to me is that Tucker, because isn't there some I don't know for sure, but isn't there some, Travis, you might know, there's some connection between Bill Barr and Epstein, like Bill Barr's father
His
was
father
given a
hired
job.
him at the school.
Yeah, or something like that. So it sounds like now that everybody has sort of turned, all of the right-wing folks have turned on Bill Barr. To me, it sounds like Tucker's kind of coming from that angle, that he's like, well, yeah, Bill Barr looks like he covered it up, and we know that Bill Barr. It is the blending of like liberal and right-wing, because when Bill Barr, when Bill Barr was and the whole Epstein shit was going down, people were pointing this connection out, that Bill Barr's father had given him a job or whatever, and so he must have been wrapped up, and that's why he covered it up, and yada yada yada. So it seems like maybe Tucker is angling for that. He knows that Trump is not happy with Bill Barr. Maybe he'll get him to say something about him being connected to Epstein. But like Julian said, it's like, this is his crew, like, this is his set, so he's got to be very careful about what he says on TV.
Tucker was just never invited to the parties of that set. he's like they half fear that he like is like just a kind of loser, and half fear that he's like secretly Joffrey from Game of Thrones, like can only get off by like extreme torture.
He's a narc.
So they're just like, nah, don't invite that guy. And now he's like, well, it seems weird that your friend who didn't invite me to his party, oversaw this.
Yeah, I mean, Trump is almost like, Jeffrey Epstein, who's that? Who is he?
Yeah.
Like, it's a very, it's the same when anybody, asks about QAnon, he's like, I don't know. I've heard they're big fans of me, which so bad. It's like,
he just couldn't care less about anything that doesn't directly involve him and his like witch hunt thing or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, he's just like, can we get back to me, please?
Yeah, can we get back to the witch hunt, please?
He is looking pretty bad, seriously. Like, he's very low energy. Like, he really is starting to look like an old man now. For as much as like he managed to get through the 4 years of being president without like having that like hyper aging process that a lot of presidents go through, it seems like the last couple of months are actually like taking a toll on the big man. Seems like.
Yeah, he's like, I was supposed to be paying millions and millions of dollars for speeches at universities by now, and I've got to deal with all of this legal bullshit. Like,
I mean, this is the funniest thing about this whole. Oh, sorry, Jake. I didn't mean to interrupt your impression there, but I just this. This is the funniest thing about this entire case, which is what we've talked about, which is none of it is necessary. None of these indictments had to happen. The whole thing, like, you can go over each of the things. The Stormy Daniels thing. He didn't have to get his mobbed up lawyers to illegally use campaign funds to bribe Stormy Daniels. He could have said during the campaign, I had an affair with this porn star. It was magnificent. No one would have cared. All that information came out. No one gave a shit. It didn't matter. He didn't have to. The secret documents thing. He didn't have, they were just like, hey, sir, can we please have those documents back? We know you have them. And he was like, no, I want to keep them in Mar-a-Lago so I can share them with Kid Rock and talk about, and like, or whatever, like jet ski dealership owner that's hanging out there, a sweaty boat dealer that he wants to impress. He literally had multiple opportunities to give that stuff back, and he could have done that at any time.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's really funny the way you put that like in an effort to look more professional, he ended up committing more crimes.
Yeah, or the January 6th thing, which like he could have just, as I talked about a couple weeks ago, he could have just like maybe accepted the election results with a small amount of dignity intact, with whatever caveats about stolen elections or fraud that he wanted to throw in there. And then he would be in great shape to just like, he would still be on Twitter. He would have been on there, X.com, the everything app. He would still be on there every day, holding Biden's feet to the fire and campaigning. He'd be in great shape now to run again without any of this legal shit hanging over his head. None of it was necessary. Every single one of these indictments was completely self-inflicted for no benefit whatsoever. And it was entirely just because of his like massive ego and narcissism and hubris that he literally just forced these people who don't want to hold people like Donald Trump accountable for any kind of crimes, forced them to their hand and forced them to do these things when none of it was necessary at all. I find that kind of amusing and ironic about the whole thing.
He sounds, in this clip, he sort of sounds like a pilled guy who has sort of like lost his luster over as predictions and things didn't really go his way. He's just sort of like disconnecting and he's grown bored with all of the topics that he was so passionate about a couple years ago.
What has Jordan just received? He seems
Trump. Okay, so Trump got booked. I think they're going to delay the mugshot until 4 p.m. tomorrow.
No.
I know, they're edging. Everyone's getting edged. But we have something even better right now. In his booking info, it lists his height at 6'3" and his weight at 215.
Bullshit.
Come on.
No fucking
Yeah,
way.
that means
rules.
that
they
means
let him
that
fill
Trump.
it out. They
That
let him
means that
fill it
Trump
out.
like weighs like 15 pounds more than me.
Well,
and
he's mostly styrofoam.
And I am a person who standing at a whopping 5'8" 3/4 stature. Okay, so yeah, there's really
no way. This is what the QAnon people should be looking into. This is the real fucking.
Yeah, this is the real bait because they're like, no, I know that he weighs more. What's the significance of 215? Okay, 215. Letter 2 is B. 15 is I don't know. I don't think like they do, so I can't come up with a funny joke. But
February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. Something.
They sent him Trump Jr. in a mask.
It'll be baked. The baking though has just gotten. It's gotten harder and sadder because it's just becoming less and less likely that the storm as it was sort of advertised is going to take place. Remember, QAnon basically started with Hillary Clinton's arrest is imminent. And now you've got Hillary Clinton on the Maddow show at the exact moment that the Trump indictments are announced, so that she can laugh at him and her can have Schadenfreude on national TV. This is a far cry from she's wearing an ankle monitor because her indictment is imminent.
Have you considered that Trump is all bun, no patty? He's a fluffy boy.
He's one of those like keto buns that like even when you buy them new, they look kind of like sad and spongy and maybe moldy, but then you inspect them and there's no mold. They're still edible, but they don't look very good.
You've got a pair of keto buns.
I wish I did. I will one day.
Yeah.
I just keep eating these buns.
I'm pretty disappointed about this photo thing. Come on, they got to give us the goods here. We got the whole world is waiting for this, the release of this image.
Pretty obnoxious.
Listen, the wait is going to be better than the thing.
Yeah, the wait is going to be better than the thing.
Have another day on us.
Exactly. It's another day. It's another day of fantasizing and tweeting and what's Trump going to do. I mean, that's the thing that bums me out. I think the most about this whole thing is like, 30 years into the future when I'm, almost dead. I'm gonna look up on a television screen while waiting in a car mechanic shop, and it's gonna be like Trump did this in prison, or Trump is said this about being in prison, and it's just like I'm just so sick of hearing about this guy. I really thought that after Biden won in 2020, that the news kind of they sort of pretended like they were going to do this awesome thing where they just never talked about him ever again, and that was going to make him so upset and so mad. And he really was hamstrung. Like he couldn't post on Twitter. If he had to get a message out, it had to be on this like dumb letterhead that wouldn't go anywhere unless the news decided to publish it. And it's just like they can't quit him. And I don't know. It's just like, God damn, I'm so fucking sick of hearing about this guy and the shit, all the bad things that he's done. And we're just going to keep hearing about it for the next,
that kind of makes sense then. If America is like a drug addict and Trump is the drug we're taking, then we're lying about how much we took. We only took 215 pounds of it. Okay?
Yeah.
All right? We are not taking 300 pounds of this awful narcotic.
Yeah. Because what it really does at the end of the day is it's a gimme for looking like the good guys, right? As long as you are speaking out against Trump, as long as you stand in opposition to him, you are on the good side, which is true. Which is true. It's like that's not a false thing. But what incentive does it give to actually start to focus more intensely on some of the bigger issues that are facing the country? It's like you don't, because people are satisfied by what they're getting already, which is watching Trump get his comeuppance, and that's policy. That's policy now. Is watching the bad guys face consequences for their actions, which is not bad in and of itself. But it's like, oh man, it's just like there's no need for anything else.
Well, not only are you going to still be hearing about Trump 30 years from now, but Barron is going to be the Immortan Joe of the American hellscape in the dried out, apocalyptic.
Where do we
dystopia that people are living in?
Where do we think he's going to establish his kingship? Is he going to be in Gastown? Is he going to be in Bullet Town? or is he going to be in the water? I don't know what is Immortan's Joe where they have the natural water
I
spring.
think that these breeds are all going to be like Cortana.
He's really tall. I mean, he really is. Like you can't say enough how extremely tall that guy is now.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta, if anything, you gotta give him that. You know,
he's too sad though. He's too sad and distraught to like get the Trump juice. I don't think he's gonna.
Yeah, he's so burned out. This boy just wants to play like Xbox and shit. Like he just. He's probably sick of it. Can you imagine, like, as annoying it is for us to open our phones every day and see stuff about Trump? How like annoying it is for him. Whether it's people talking shit or it's people praising, he's just like, oh man, it's just like this is all I ever am. Is like this motherfucker's kid.
Also, think about your half siblings. They suck.
Oh my god.
Your whole family sucks so bad.
Yeah, this guy, he just wants a PS5, you know? he just wants to get kill streaks. He just wants to like, I don't know, be tall and like from a rich family and like enjoy that. And now maybe the money goes. Who knows?
Maybe the money goes.
It's not Barron's fault of who he was born to. It is none of our we don't get to
I think it is.
we don't get to choose. We don't get to choose who our parents are. And for some of us that is a it's become a blessing, and for others it's
but
not
if you
so
believe
much.
in reincarnation, he's probably Hitler. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he has the worst previous karma to then be handed this shit. Yeah, he did some awful stuff in his past lives.
I don't like making fun of kids.
He's not a kid anymore, isn't he? Like 20 or something?
I don't know.
He's still a kid.
He's 88.
Probably mentally.
I think he's tall enough that he's legally not a youth anymore. You're allowed to make fun of him once he gets to a certain. He's like 6'10" practically. This guy.
Draw a bead and headshot.
In the game, right?
In the game, yeah, in the game.
Good, yeah, because it's live, so you can't like beat it out like we do on our show.
Well, I meant in the game.
You know what's funny on our podcast? Travis and I, or Liv, or Brad, or Annie, we never have to get beeped. Julian, though, he has to be beeped quite a bit.
Yeah.
We have to make special notes to decrease our legal liability to censor some of Julian's content.
Let's see. What were my recent notes?
Read the recent notes to the editor.
Editing and publishing. One of them was beep my death threats, just the specific words kill or dead, etc.
etc. It's not just those two words. It's anything else that falls in that line.
Yeah, leave the rest.
You can leave in the death threats towards Jake. That's okay. He's not gonna be upset.
Yeah.
But other people who might be, you could take those out.
Mm-hmm. Well, yours, the one things they beep that I say about you are all about like yoga poses I want us to do together. You know what I mean?
When you don't need to, that's love and friendship. All right. You don't have to beep that stuff. I think that's totally kosher.
Yeah.
I think we're good on time, Rob.
I think so. Yeah.
We could spend a good 20 minutes cleaning up Dr. Pepper. Well, not we, but
yeah.
Oh, I just insurged. Oh, I finished.
Yeah, as this studio gets hotter and hotter and hotter with three grown bodies in it, Jordan's like, yeah, I think we're okay on time.
Jordan's wearing a fucking hoodie. What the fuck?
Jordan was wearing not this hoodie, but he was wearing a black hooded sweatshirt a couple days ago when we were moving his furniture.
Yeah.
I think the hoodie lifestyle. It doesn't matter about weather. It doesn't matter about temperature.
I think that's like an East Coast thing that you're just like, no, I'm in a hoodie. I live in this hoodie. This is what I'm doing. I'm not putting on these weak T-shirts from these California.
The weather is good. I'll pull up the sleeves.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm actually now that I'm a 40-year-old dad, I actually like the hoodie and tiny shorts combo. Like the gym teacher look. That's what I go with.
Exactly what I'm going with.
Yeah, anything for the lower part of my body is getting increasingly more stretchy And the market is really angling to people like me. You can buy suits that are made of spandex now. My shorts, they all have elastic bands, even if they've got buttons and belt loops.
Suit made of spandex.
Yeah. Look,
we're not talking about getting dressed up in a superhero outfit.
Sometimes I need to expand, and I need my clothing to accommodate my expansions. I need my clothing to be able to run my body's DLC.
Yeah, your gut is a DLC. That's good.
It's an expansion pack.
Yeah.
No, it's not humid here. And I've lived the last 10 years in just this god awful
in the swamp.
Yeah,
I'm here and it's just sure it's 80s, 90s, but
it's dry.
It's so dry. It's great.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's a little warm in here just because we don't have airflow and we're just sitting in here. But
we're just in
when we go outside to cruise for those jewel pods, it's gonna be brisk.
Yeah. Oh yeah, nice and brisk, perfect for a walk.
Bringing Jordan down the street for my boy who still has the menthols in the back.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot disclose what tobacco
don't say
shop.
that on air.
I can't say it. No, I'm not going to say which tobacco shop or anything like that.
The contraband, the California contraband. No, it's so stupid. You can buy them online. But I don't have a California license yet. And when I realized that, I immediately went to go book an appointment to get my license.
I will talk to you about DMV stuff after this. The chat does not need to know about the ins and outs of the CA DMV. Some of you probably know how bad it is, but I know a good DMV. I know where. Look, I got a good DMV. Okay,
they've been good to me, other than I failed my my driving the actual test twice. And
I'm not surprised.
Hey, listen, I'd barely driven before.
Oh yeah, you're European. Yeah, I get it.
I just jumped right in.
Oh,
I was
mugshot dropped.
No, I think that's a fake. I've seen a fake go around a lot.
See, are you sure
they
don't even need the real? You don't even need the real. You got the
Photoshop.
Yeah, they've got the photo. They've got the Photoshop already. And
I don't think this is real either. You're right. He's doing a glowering face, and I don't know.
There will be some kind of sneaky Photoshops where they expand the side of his face by a couple inches.
Yeah,
maybe make him look a little bit redder, a little bit sweatier.
That's the fake.
I've been searching Trump mugshot the last 30 minutes, and some random tiny
fake
account posted it first.
I'm seeing a lot of people sharing this image.
Of course they are, because everyone is QAnon now. But everyone doesn't double check.
I think this is fake.
Julian, nobody wants to talk about that.
The county said they're going to release it at 4 p.m. tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I see the one going around. It does not have the same kind of lighting as all the other photographs. So
he's clearly shopped in. He doesn't have the light bouncing off of his suit in the same way. He doesn't have the glistening forehead like the other guys did.
There's literally a different JPEG compression happening on the logo of the sheriff office than his face. So
we got our best forensics team over here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, me and Julian looking at the picture.
Yeah, in fact, this is the original. It's the original photo exists and looks.
That's what you get here on the QA.
There we go, debunked.
QA crew live debunking. So if you were unsatisfied with this mugshot,
Bobby Russo is a liar.
If you were unsatisfied with this mugshot that's going around, don't worry.